Many people dream of living in the Caribbean, but often look at a limited number of options. And from Puerto Rico, which has been raising its fees on Americans looking to move there for lower taxes, islands like the Cayman Islands, which are as expensive as ever, and citizenship by investment countries like Antigua, which have overpriced and often unappealing real estate. Folks aren't exactly sure where in the Caribbean to look. And so today I'm going to suggest 5 places that you might not have thought about that are a little bit off the radar. I'm Andrew Henderson here at Nomad Capitalist. I've spent over a dozen years curating a global network of experts, building a team of over 30 people, all to help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and investors legally go where you're treated best. And today we're going to talk about places where you can live in the Caribbean, oftentimes very quaint places, peaceful, away from it all, that you might not have thought about. Because certainly the Cayman Islands have their place, those kinds of places like the Bahamas have a place. But what if you want something a little bit more laid back, a little bit off the radar, substantially less expensive? Well, here are 5 places to think about. One of the more common tourist attractions, especially for Europeans, is the Dominican Republic. And so you have places like Punta Cana, which have the gorgeous resorts and the whole scene. But what about other areas like Puerto Plata or the Samana Peninsula? These areas have really some nice beaches. There are some small towns, some quaint places that you can live. I've known a number of people who have lived in the DR and they've liked it. It's laid back, people leave you alone. There are ways where you can immigrate there, either with an investment or a pension or numerous different ways that you can get into the country. The citizenship, more difficult than I think it's often made out to be. Not a great citizenship to have, but from a residence perspective, a lot of people enjoy living there. And because it is such a tourist destination, their side of the island has a lot of connections to the US, to places in Europe. And so it's, for a global citizen, easy to get in and out of. For affordability, I think the challenge in the Caribbean is island living, because if you look at places like the citizenship by investment countries, I've had people who've wanted to get citizenship in, let's say, Antigua or St. Lucia and buy land and build something. It's expensive because you're on an island. It's hard to get building materials there. You don't have all the same quality, whether it's labor, whether it's whatever it may be, to build what you may be used to. And so what I've often thought about is consider a mainland country that's on the Caribbean as an alternative to get better quality, get more access to services potentially at a lower price. And so a couple of countries stand out, which actually have islands of their own. Also rather popular among expats is Roatan, part of Honduras. Honduras, not the safest country in the world, but Roatan is an exception to that. You can live in Roatan, off in the Caribbean. It is really an expat paradise, relatively developed. You even have had flights directly to Roatan from places in the Western world. You have lots of flights down to San Pedro Sula, you can hop right over, or to Tegucigalpa, you can hop over. So you're pretty well connected, but you've got a lot of stuff right on Roatan. It's one of the most popular places in the Caribbean for expats who actually want to live there, and yet you don't really hear about it, partially because Honduras gets a bad rap. Roatan is distanced from that. You can get residence Honduras, and you can work towards citizenship for a relatively low bank investment. Or even by having a pension. So interesting option for someone who wants that connectivity. If you want to go back to the United States, for example, it's not a bad option. A little bit less developed is Nicaragua, the Corn Islands. I happen to like Nicaragua. It always holds a special place for me in Central America. And I think there's some nice places on the Pacific side, like San Juan del Sur. Obviously, you've got Costa Rica to the south, but Nicaragua's Corn Islands, you've got Big Corn, you've got Little Corn. Big Corn, you have some flights coming in and out from Managua, and you can get to the US or wherever from there. So you've got things going on, you've got yoga studios, you can drive around, decent amount of activity on Big Corn Island. There's stuff happening. It's still, I think, pretty tranquil. You've got white sand beaches, beautiful diving in the Corn Islands, just really beautiful turquoise waters. If you like diving, if you like beaches, you're in luck. On Little Corn, definitely a lot less developed. It is something like 2 square miles, so not much bigger than Monaco. but it's an island, right? And so there's really not a lot to do. I don't think there's any cars there. And so, internet's going to be a little bit slower there. They still have a few amenities, but, it's going to be pretty tranquil, pretty off the radar. So big corn if you want more stuff going on, little corn if you're just totally looking to get away from it all. Nicaragua also has pretty straightforward residence permits, and if you are willing to live there for a good part of the year, you can work your way towards actually a pretty good citizenship if you're willing to live there. So 2 islands in the Caribbean. They're part of Nicaragua, but distanced from Nicaragua. And actually, the Corn Islands, the day-to-day language is English. And so if you're concerned, then that should be, that's something that certainly works in your favor. Now, let's talk about actually being on the mainland. Look at a place like a Tulum in Mexico. I think that entire coast in Mexico has become very interesting for a lot of folks. You look at Playa del Carmen, home to Nomad Capitalist Live, our live conference this year. Very popular place. But a little bit further south, Tulum has become very, very, very popular. I was looking at Tulum probably 7 or 8 years ago, back when it was not nearly what it is today. It's becoming very popular. And so you've got the international airport of Cancun, about an hour and a half away. It's almost too international, quite frankly, Cancun. Or you've got Mexico City, and then you can fly anywhere from there. So you've got tons of international access. You've got what's becoming a very zen place, a very developed place, lots of high-level real estate. Quite frankly, for what you get in some cases, the prices aren't terrible. So you can buy property there, a little bit of a proper structure you need for buying property in Mexico and the coast. But for Caribbean living, very interesting option. I think that part of Mexico is definitely worth considering for someone who wants. That's probably where I would want to go. Somewhere that's got a lot of development, got a lot more people. You can go, to bigger cities. You can go to resorts. You can go to beautiful restaurants nearby, or you can sit around and drink your fresh juices. So Tulum, very popular place. Playa del Carmen, very popular place. Also, Cartagena, Colombia. If you buy a home in Cartagena, if you buy a home in Colombia, you can get permanent residence. You can work your way towards citizenship. It's on the Caribbean coast. Definitely an interesting vibe. It feels to me, I don't know if I want to say more European. It kind of it reminds me of parts of Panama City in some areas. Just very kind of Central American beach town in a little bit different way than Mexico. But anyway, popular place along the Colombian coast. Nice people, again, developed. You've got flights, I believe there's flights from Cartagena to various places in Europe at times, certainly Bogota not so far away. So you're in a substantial country, which much bigger and with much more access than in Nicaragua or Honduras. So Colombia and Mexico on the mainland, you do have that benefit that you are in substantial countries with substantial development and transportation links and all that. But you're very close to islands that people go to, like Aruba or Bonaire with their crazy taxes. So you're kind of not so far away from that. And I think it's a place that a lot of people don't consider when they go to the Caribbean. Again, just buy an apartment and you've got your residence sorted. So these are not all necessarily low tax destinations. Some of them can be pretty tax friendly, but they are places that aren't as widely talked about. So if there's one you think I'm missing, let me know in the comments. If there's one of these that you've been to, you're interested in, I'd like to hear which of these places is best for you. So leave a comment below, let me know. And if you'd like me to make more videos on some of these places or talk more about options in the Caribbean, then let me know that too. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.